Tillich talked about how a genuine faith carries with it the intensity of particularity and the broadness of universality. So that to talk about being unapologetically black is to say, even down to my genetic or sociological designation, all the way to kingdom come, because the kingdom we preach about in the Christian church is one that covers all of us. So do you see me here talking to you out of the particularity of my ethnicity, but addressing the universality of human existence? You can't do any better than that. And anybody who tries to worship but they don't bring the particularity will get shortchanged with respect to the universality of salvation for all the kingdoms of the earth. But anyway, I want to speak to you from the theme, nighttime is prime time for the grace of God. Here we are on Sunday, Easter evening, 2008. Easter, for those of us within the Christian tradition, is the pinnacle of our faith. It is the zenith, the highest point of God's saving action in the world. Now, as a preacher for years, my custom was to make sure that when Easter came, I would not even dare risk sort of a surface kind of joyous little ditty of a sermon, because this is our best and strongest message. I've always sought to find out, Lord, what is an issue that really demands our best? What is it that really is happening now that is just waiting for the power of an Easter message that has an appeal to the whole of creation? What is the issue? And every year I'd pray and the Lord would reveal to me, this is the presenting problematic of this time. And Easter is the answer that can make a difference. So in my prayer this year, Lord, what is it going on in my nation, in congregations, in outposts of industry, education, science, and technology? What is a reality that just must have an Easter message? And in the course of my meditation, 2 verses came to me. The first was from last Sunday, Palm Sunday, where in Matthew 21, verse 17, it says, after all of the activity of the day, Jesus overturning the tables, releasing the animals from their stalls, and the authorities gathering in the back room to decide what we're going to do. And the text says of Jesus, he left them, that is, the high priests and the scribes, went out of the city and spent the night there in Bethany. Now, really, there's really not that much in that text, and I've usually overlooked it getting on with the other activities of Holy Week. But for some reason, verses will sometimes leap up at you and start flashing like a neon sign. Went out of the city to Bethany and spent the night there. Spent the night. The disciples, clearly intimidated by what was being said about this parade that had taken place during this day, were very happy that Jesus did not check in to the downtown Hilton in Jerusalem, but that he went back with them to Bethany and spent the night. Sometimes when you're in trouble, you need somebody to spend the night. Betty was very happy when she had her little operation, that I did not risk the usual staff. I paid extra just to have a night nurse. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the middle of the night. You do not know whether the intravenous jar will just empty out. You don't know whether a sudden reversal of a condition will make for peril. So it's a good thing to have somebody that's with you through the night. But that was then. Then I ran in my reading all the way up to John chapter 20, and guess what it said? It said, early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark. From Palm Sunday, spent the night. And then Easter, while it's still dark, still night. And that's when the events that we've been celebrating all day took place. From these two texts, I thought I heard the message God wanted me to share with everybody that I could get to listen to it and to take it to heart. Why don't I just go ahead and tell you, sometimes when you have streaming faith opportunities, folks will get up to go to get a Budweiser and miss the point you were trying to preach about. And although I usually tell my preaching students not to necessarily read the central idea, that's the spine the preacher ought to be aware of. But just in case somebody doesn't have but just a few soundbite sessions to listen, I want to just tell you what the whole sermon is trying to say and trying to get done, and then I'm going to go ahead and preach. Listen, in this sermon entitled Nighttime is Prime Time for the Grace of God, this is what I'm about. In this sermon, I propose to show that the God revealed in Jesus Christ our Lord stands by us and by grace works through us, even in the darkness of the night, to the end that everybody who hears me, black and white, rich and poor, far and near, that you tonight, or whenever the night comes in your life, will be able to rest unafraid, confidently trusting in the promise of the divine presence. Lo, I am with you. And also that you tonight, beginning tonight, some of you need this right now. Others will need it later. That you will wait through the night. The psalmist says, through the night season, since nights when they are bad are cowards and won't come by themselves. They usually come in bunches.